What's up, y'all? It's the Real Frii with another episode of Free Lunch. Shout out to the sponsors, man, for this episode. Dobie and Rollins Orthodontics helping you love your smile. Shout out, shout out. Rosian Miller, realtor, real estate agent, man, helping you get anything in order from looking for your next home or your investment property. Hit my man up. Check all the sponsor links in the description of this episode. And shout out to Track Major Productions. If you need the dopest beat for your next single, your next album, make sure you hit up Track Majors. So, I wanted to just quickly get into a conversation me and my mans was having yesterday where we was talking about just God's timing. And he's a visionary like me, big dreams like me, has a family, loves his family like me. And I just wanted us to make sure while we are, pursuing the goals, the dreams, while we're, moving carefully, right? Um, the topic came up about it being God's timing, like, making sure, I don't want to, you want to take things slow, you want to make sure you're moving in God's timing. Um, but what I want us to keep in mind is that here are some things that we are not guaranteed when it actually is God's timing, right? So when it is God's timing, that does not mean you are guaranteed it will be a convenient time for you. God's timing does not guarantee you it will be a comfortable time. God's timing does not mean it will be convenient, comfortable, void of sacrifice. And many times we can make the mistake as men and women with big dreams and big faith, right, in God, and tell ourselves, if it feels uncomfortable right now, or if things look too risky, if I make that move, it must not be God's time. It's not God's timing right now because everything is not in order. And really, that's our fear. Sometimes a little bit of our doubt also, simply masking itself under the guise of saying it's just not God's timing. But it really could be. And so, make sure it's just, one of those things, it's hard to call, and only it's one of those things where it's like, you talk to God, you have your personal relationship, um, and it's got to be one where you could be honest with yourself. Like you could lie to us, you could lie to me all day long. You could lie to your friends. You could, what I mean. You could be telling everybody, man. It's just not the right time right now. All in God's timing, right? All in God's timing. Like you take on the real like cool, humble approach. Like you just trying to be cool. And really is sometimes it could just be you just scared, man. You just scared. Um, and I've been there. I've been there and taken major leaps because I believed it truly was God's timing, and it wasn't convenient. It wasn't void of sacrifice. You know what I mean? It was even some more sacrifice, more than I expected. But I truly believe, that was God's timing. So um, that was really, really like big for me. And you got to make sure too. You got yourself surrounded by people that um, or not not just support you but hold you accountable in a way where how you could like share your passion for something or share your dream with somebody close to you, a family or a friend, and then you don't follow through, right? Like you don't keep moving in that direction, or gradually taking steps towards that goal. um Surround yourself with people that's gonna like remind you of those goals, remind you of those things that you said. Like you said you wanted to do that, you said you wanted to pursue this, and so are you making headway with that? How are you doing with that? like people that can like of you, remind you of yourself. Um, and that's always been big, for me. I call those my accountability partners, right? Like, you might have another name for it, your inner circle or whatever, but um, I appreciate having people like that in my life, that check in on me, and they're like, so man, how's things going with the business all the time, um, giving me inspiration, new ideas, ways to be successful in my business and the thing that I chose to do. Um, and the funny thing is, I've been blessed to have people support me and support the business that are actually either directly, in a literal sense, or indirectly involved in the same business. Like, how dope is that when you have friends, people of your inner circle who are literally in the same business and industry as you, but freely still openly give you game on the business, ways that you can succeed without them like being threatened by your success. Like, God has blessed me so much with people like that, man. And I'm thankful, I'm thankful to have, people like my man Eddie over at Pure White Lens Photography, um, always giving me game, man. I could pick up the phone and ask him about something. He like, yo, I'll send you the Amazon link, or this what you need for that. I got you. My man Andre Griffith from C1 Media. Yo, this dude, Andre has literally like given me just, let alone like free game, but like he's like literally like just dropped off like hundreds of dollars worth of equipment to me, like just been like here, you can have it. Um, so I obviously, I pay my respect, or part of my gratitude, and that is like paying that forward. I keeping that same energy, and so I carry myself the same way. There are people that are part of my inner circle, people, close friends of mine, that I see, trying to just, not even in my same industry, like, but other people, who do other things, where it's like, hey, won't you come to the studio? Uh, you know, hit me up when you got time. Let me give you, let me give you some free game. Let me give you, free consultations. Give you some ways I could help you increase your brand awareness. For nothing, like just because I want to see you succeed. You know what I mean? So I have definitely, the one thing I will say though is the only like drawback to that is there are times where you are trying to literally invite people into your space, or whether y'all trying to like just get up maybe, um and you're doing it because you're genuinely trying to like build with them, but then because they know they are not taking, or because they know they're not paying you for your time, uh they could sometimes be careless with that. Like, so you know you got people who are dropping the ball with following up or connecting with you, or meeting with you when they said they would, or um like constantly rescheduling, and it's really because it's not costing them anything. Your time, you're essentially, you're giving them your time, and you don't have a problem with it. Like, that's, you love them, you care about them, they're close to you, so you're giving them you're offering them your free time, or you're offering them your time for free, because you just want to see them succeed. But because they're not paying for it, sometimes they could be careless with that time you're giving them. So you then got to be careful with that. Be careful with giving your time, even though you're doing it out of love, you're doing it out of just genuine care for them. Like, but be prepared for when people don't take as seriously your time as you take your time. Like, I take my time even more so now, having like 2 years now, uh, been doing this thing full time, like this entrepreneurial thing, this creative thing, this branding and marketing, consulting, like, because this is all I have, like, this is my, it's no longer the side gig. My time is so valuable to me. Like, it's so valuable. So when I hit someone up, when I extend that time to you and it doesn't cost you anything, I'm not charging you anything for it. I want people to take that like really big, but I'm even finding, the funny thing is I'm even discovering, even now after 2 years, there's people like friends or family who are still they still don't know that this is in fact what I do full time. Like, they don't, they still think this is just the side gig, you know? So then there's that, right? Because everybody's not following you on social media. Everybody's not tapped in, on everything you're doing. So that's cool, I guess. But I mean, the crazy thing is too, man, it's even gone as far as there are people who literally, I kid you not, there are people who still like, oh, send me a DM. People I ain't heard from in a minute, and it's people that I cross paths in person, like on the street, and still think I'm a police officer. Like, I haven't been a police officer in, let's see, 2015 is when I left. Like, it's almost 10 years, man. That's 8 years ago. So that's just like crazy to me. Like, I haven't been a police officer in 8 years. So, like, for people to still even think like that's where I'm at, you know what I mean? Like, it just goes to show you, even people in your life who are not keeping up, man, because you're just like that driven. Like, it's people that will go 6 months, man, not keeping tabs on you, not speaking to you, maybe not picking up your calls or returning your calls, man. In a year from now, when they finally get up with you, or finally do follow through and be like, yeah, man, I know, we was been supposed to get up, man. They're going to be people that are finally, when they do 6 months from now, catch up to you, or a year from now, they're going to see a whole nother you, see a whole nother, you're going to, it's one particular person I have been inviting to my studio literally since day one. Literally since day one that I moved into the studio and we started with just $25 microphones. Matter of fact, I take that back. These were like probably $10 microphones. Real talk. Since that day, when we had one desk, no TVs, one desk, $10 microphones, no cameras. Since that day, I've been inviting this particular person to come. Hey, man, every time I see him, and I see him like every week, literally, for the last 2 years we've been in this studio, growing, evolving. I see this person every single week, and I always tell him, hey, man, you should come check me out at the studio, man. Just come check it out. More like, yeah, man, as soon as I get time, man, as soon as I get time. The other crazy thing is, this person is literally in walking distance for their job, what they do, from my studio, right? So, mind you, we've been here for 2 years. For 2 years, I've been in this studio evolving. The next evolution I've been telling people is I'm going to leave the studio and have my own building. Like, that's the goal, is to no longer be, renting space, in someone else's building, but like purchase my own commercial building myself. So we started with the $10 mics, no camera, one desk. Over 2 years, you can imagine how we've expanded. I mean, now from $10 microphones, the microphones that we use now are $500 each. You know what I mean? From having no TVs to 3 TVs here in the studio, to having only one desk, we got 3 desks, to having only 2 chairs, we got like 12 different seating arrangements here in the studio, a sofa, to having no cameras, to then going to having, we started using a studio iPhone. We bought like a studio phone. We had that for video. Now we have two uh, mirrorless Canon cameras that we're using for video. It's just amazing evolution, man. And sometimes people who just can't keep up, or people that you are extending the invite to stay tapped into you, just refuse to keep up. They refuse to, like, come check you. And then I don't think it's like always out of like some animosity either. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times I think people just could just genuinely be busy, and that's cool. But the thing is you keep continuing to evolve. You keep growing, man. And it's gonna be some people that when they finally do catch up, when they finally like get around to hitting you back, following up with you, man, and making time for you, because they now see how valuable your time is that you've been trying to like give them for free. It may be a time where it finally really costs them. It costs them to come and finally come see you, to come check you. Or it downright just becomes impossible and they can't. And hopefully that's not a time where they accuse you of acting funny. Hopefully that's not a time where they think it's something wrong with you. Um, Hopefully they could just be real and honest with themselves. So that's all I got for today, man. I think going forward we might have a lot more of these like shorter episodes, just for me to just share just quick thoughts throughout the week with y'all. I appreciate all of y'all who've been tapped into the podcast. Free Lunch has continued to keep just like growing, man. People are just always discovering the show week to week, month to month. I really appreciate that. And I thank you for the supporters who've been sticking around, even with just like not the same frequency of the shows, but while I continue to sharpen the quality, and even just bearing with me while I continue to finish like graduate school, like even just rocking with me through that journey over at Johns Hopkins University, man, while I get this master's degree, so I can continue to just do what I do even better and provide better value to like the clients that we have here at Frii Branding. So thank you for just hanging with me, y'all. Thank you for watching me grow. For everybody who's been tapped in this long, I appreciate you. Real talk. So till next time, it's free lunch, free food for your soul. Peace.